If you want to win your ex back, you might have heard about radio silence. Now, what is radio silence and when to use it?
My name is Emanuel. I'm a relationship coach. For years, I've been helping people to win back their ex, escape the friend zone, or lead happier relationships.
In this video, I will speak about radio silence, of course in the context of winning back your ex-partner, because there's a no contact rule, there's radio silence, there are all kinds of strategies actually to pull yourself back. So ideally, your ex is getting more curious and want to know more about you and is again more longing for contact to you. Now, radio silence is a very special thing. What does it mean? And of course, in the end, after making the distinction between radio silence and ghosting in the middle of this video, I will come to the points that are very interesting when you might use or when you want to use radio silence to attract your ex back. Now, first to the definition. Radio silence means we don't have no contact, but we have even more than no contact. There's nothing you leak. There's nothing that your ex-partner is able to find in the internet. So you want to stop posting things, doing any stories, any status, somewhere, wherever, new images, whatever. You blocked your ex-partner so he cannot see any longer your profile picture or anything in this direction. And for instance, on a social media platform like Instagram, you have only a very restricted group which can see your stories. You know that there's an opportunity to post stories that everyone who follows you can see it, but you can also restrict it to a narrowed down group, or your profile is closed and your ex is outside, so he's not following and he's not able to see anything of you. Before we go into why we want to use it and when we want to use it, I want to make a clear distinction between radio silence and ghosting. Ghosting actually is something where you had contact with someone, but suddenly he is almost like dead. He is like ghosting you, means nothing comes out. He's not replying, he's not writing you, or whatever he or she is doing, nothing comes in. I have people I heard or I worked with that were ghosting someone else for 4 or 5 years and came to me and in the coaching and said, Emanuel, I have such a bad conscience because since 5 years I know that I owe her an apology. And I can't write it. Every time I want to, I think like I don't have the right words. So actually she is up probably until today waiting for her apology, never having heard anything anymore of her boyfriend. And when I tried to tell him, hey, you should overcome it, get out of the stress, text her, he was always like, I can't. He always had excuses. So ghosting is more with that someone is not answering anymore, with whom you had some dates or whom you were dating and suddenly the person was off. Radio silence is after the breakup and you are doing a no contact phase or you're pulling back, and in this time you don't ghost because the other one does not want anything of you right now. You don't have an active relationship or any dating going on, nothing like that. But you think that maybe it would be even more effective if you not only go with no contact, but if you switch to complete radio silence. So ghosting is something where you want to have something of someone and he is like vanishing like a ghost. Radio silence is like you anyway did not have so much contact, but there is no leaking of any information in your direction. Now let's see when you might want to use this technique, this strategy. Actually, I have to be very honest, we use it very rarely. First of all, usually in our ex-back strategy, we want to have some contact. We want to leak some information that our ex-partner picking that up and thinking he would like to know more, or she would like to know more, or she would like to react, or she sees how you suddenly you got better, you're better off now, and maybe you even start to date new people and those images should leak and he gets curious or he gets even jealous or she gets jealous. Radio silence is on very rare occasions a step further. For instance, if the person was very mean, your ex-partner was very mean when breaking up with you, was really, really I have to be honest, an asshole. Now, in this moment, for me, it's very important that I kind of punish him in an indirect way without, like, what can I do? He anyway pulled back, he broke up with me, so what can I do? I don't think it's very effective to go there and say, hey, you've been such an asshole. It would not work. It's not effective at all. But if you go radio silent, like blocking him on every channel, be very cautious that nothing leaks anywhere, no images, nothing, no story, nothing. Then after a period, and everybody is asking me the question, like, when will my ex start to look after me? When will he react? Or how can he get that I blocked him if he's not interested anymore? You have to be aware that even an asshole ex-partner who pretends to not want to know anything anymore of you has some weak moments. There are some weeks, maybe, some days, some weeks. I know you would love that it's only some days, but sometimes there's some weeks, and he will or she will sit somewhere, maybe with some friends, with relatives, or alone. And she will wonder and suddenly thinks, like, how are you? I've been really a pig in the end. And what can I do? And let's look him up. Let's look her up. And then he should not find anything of you. So you have to know, we don't know when this effect is happening and taking place, but it will take place because we are curious. We are humans. We are very human. And even though we said, no, I don't want you anymore and totally over you and it's too much, I can't stand you anymore, there will be a time when suddenly I miss you a little bit. And then I'm looking your direction. So this is the first case. The second case, if we have kind of stagnation. So you think you did the no contact rule and an action, an event, and then a no contact rule, and kind of we are always on the same level. It's not going up or down, it's staying the same. Then sometimes we use radio silence to change something a little bit by pulling us completely back. Maybe the other one for the first time starts to really get curious again. Also, I do this with people where I have the feeling that they still do too much. They tell me that they did the contact rule for 3-4 weeks. And if I look online, I see a lot of posts and stories that are actually almost addressed to the ex-partner because they are so afraid that he or she could really now in the no contact phase really slip away and forget about her or him. And let's be a little bit more explicit. So I write something where he knows that actually it was addressed to him. So if this is taking place, I say we have to stop this completely. Radio silence. Yes, radio silence. But how? And then suddenly I find in the reactions that my client, my coach, is very afraid of losing the last little bit of hope and contact. And you have to go through that. So if you still cannot refrain from like pushing too much, I would say maybe 1 month of complete radio silence would be a very good remedy for yourself and for your relationship and for your big goal of winning your ex back. Also with toxic partners, I love to have some radio silence. If your partner was a very narcissistic person or has a narcissistic personality, he or she might have been mean to you. He or she might have like the idea of knowing you better, like looking straight into your psychology. Now in this moment, if I have a radio silence, this toxic partner can't anymore look at stuff, judge it, share it, laugh at you. Also in this case, a radio silence might be very good. Last but not least, maybe you did not work through your broken heart. Maybe if I would watch the story, it would still be quite obvious for me that you still have deeper feelings, that you're troubled, that you're very discontent with you now being single. If anything of this shows, it's very important to take this, to pull this back. It's very important to stop this. And radio silence might be the right treatment for you to have some time off, to really work through your broken heart, through your love sickness, and come back and stay on your feet well again with a good vibration, a good aura, however you would call it, because your ex-partner knows you very well. So watching you, observing you in a story, in a post or wherever, he might see this shadow of sadness over your appearance. And this would actually drive your partner even further away from you. While we, with winning the X back with our strategy, want to get him closer or get her closer. So if this is the case and there's still this shadow, and friends of you will tell you, we can tell you, we as coaches, you can approach us, and we're happy to help you with our X back coaching. On the phone, this is our daily business. We do this, me and my team, from morning to evening. And it might be the case that we look at your content and tell you that it's not good, that you with your little sadness are out there in the web where he or she and his friends and relatives can still see this. I remember very vividly an occasion where my sister told me, look at your ex, how she still is not over you. And in this moment, I was kind of, yeah. So don't underestimate your appearance. If it's not on point, maybe radio silence is your best friend for the next 4 weeks. I wish you the best. If you have any questions, just write some comments here. Of course, subscribe the channel. Activate the bell so you don't miss out on any new videos that we are putting on YouTube. You also find us on Instagram, on TikTok, and of course we have complete articles on datedoctor-emanuel.com. You can also email us at team@datedoctor-emanuel.com. You find all those information, links and email addresses also in the description below. Thanks for leaving a like if this video helped you, and if you have any friend and you think this is relevant to her or him, share this video. We are happy to help.
I hope you enjoyed my coaching session. For more information on relationship and dating coaching, go to datedoctor-emanuel.com.